This budget simply does not address our needs. We've heard in the Committee for the Status of Women that the tax measures of this government do not help lower and middle-income families. Non-refundable tax credits are of absolutely no value to families without a taxable income. Single parents, both male and female, have disproportionately low incomes and are left out of this so-called tax largesse. Low-income women, older women, disabled women, First Nations women, all overlooked by inaccessible tax credits. In fact, the only groups to truly benefit from Budget 2008 are the profitable corporations, big banks, big polluters. But let's not just focus on the negative when there are alternatives. You will be hearing about those alternatives today because our caucus has been working very hard to find the solutions that we need and we deserve. So today is the celebration of International Women's Day. And like our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers, there is a determination to fight back, to achieve the goal of equality. We will not be silenced. We will not be intimidated. We are, after all, the women of Canada. And I want to acknowledge some of those women, the 11 incredible women with whom it's my privilege to work in the NDP Caucus. We call ourselves the Dynamic Dozen because it's true. Whether it's constituency work or the daily work of Parliament, they are professional, determined, talented, brilliant, and the bane of the Liberal-Conservative alliance. But these remarkable parliamentarians can tell you for themselves, and I would ask them to please come and join me here. Now they're going to introduce themselves and give you a rapid account of what they've been doing.
Denis Savoie, post-secondaire. Donc, en tant que porte-parole pour le secondaire, on a mené une campagne pour améliorer l'aide aux étudiants. On sait que les étudiants vivent encore en pauvreté. Quoique les femmes soient majoritaires, on sait bien maintenant sur les campus, 60%, on sait aussi que l'éducation va vraiment influer sur le revenu. Et on n'en est pas encore là.
Catherine Bell, I'm the member for Vancouver Island North and the critic for natural resources and fisheries for the West Coast and Western economic diversification. And I was trying to think, okay, what do I talk about with natural resources? And Catherine sort of gave me some ideas. And what I thought of was, this is the sector where the really good paying jobs are, where women have made some inroads into these non-traditional jobs to get those that good pay. But sadly, women are still discriminated against in those jobs. And every time I hear of a woman who is discriminated against, threatened, harassed because she's a woman in those jobs, I know that we still have a lot of work to do. And sadly, in this budget, there was no money for training for women to take those jobs in those sectors. And so we need to push hard to get some of those women in there. The other one, fisheries. Women in the fisheries, and I've met a lot of them, and there's some really fabulous women, they do not like to be called fisher women. They don't like fishers, they like to be called fishermen. And but for them, it's a family business kind of workplace, and they like to be out there being fishermen with their families. And they have done some incredible things on the West Coast, but there's still some ways to go there. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Olivia Chow from Trinity Spadina, and Harper Conservative government budget, well, it gives the most to the ones that have the most and nothing for the ones that have the least. So obviously 18 billion for the military, 14 billion for the big banks and the big polluters, and nothing for childcare, nothing for working women, and nothing for new immigrants. Basically nothing for people that are struggling to make ends meet. So there is a gender analysis. See, protecting us, like the military, is the government business, but nurturing well is the woman's responsibility. That's why you deserve not one single penny. It's not fair, it's not just, it's shameful. It's about time that women rise up, take on the hall of the power, and regain our agenda and our power. Thank you.
Bonjour consoeurs, bienvenue. Et je suis Peggy Nash, députée de Parkdale High Park à Toronto, et je suis porte-parole pour l'industrie, sciences et technologies. Et il y a notre comité, et dans la Chambre, je lutte pour protéger les jobs, surtout dans le secteur manufacturier. J'ai aussi un projet de loi sur la question de salaire minimum. I'm fighting for a $10 minimum wage, which we have no minimum wage nationally. We have to reinstate that. The way to help get people out of poverty is when they're working full-time, full year, that they should be able to earn enough to get themselves out of poverty. So that's the main fight that I'm taking on. I just want to say tomorrow I'm launching a bursary in my riding, the Rose McGurty bursary, and it's named after a woman who was murdered by her male partner in our community. She was a very poor woman, gave back to the community, very well respected, and so the bursary will go to another woman who has faced violence in her life but is going back to school to get her life back on track, so we're happy to help her. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Chris Charlton. I'm the Member of Parliament for Hamilton Mountain, and I'm the NDP critic for seniors and pensions. And if you're wondering why everybody else is being limited to 45 seconds, it's because I have a lifetime of inequities to talk about with respect to senior women. So just sit back, relax, I'll bring you more coffee. You all know that senior women experience poverty at twice the rate that men do. And what does this budget do for seniors in our country? It tells them to go out and get a job. If you look at this budget, there was no increase to the GIS for some of the most vulnerable people in our community. Instead, it said you can go out, you can earn $3,500 before we're going to claw back the GIS. I think all of us in this room need to commit to fight against that injustice and to say to the government, seniors and senior women in our country in particular deserve to retire in dignity and respect, not in the uniform of a Walmart greeter. Thank you.
Bonjour, je suis Julie Boisselot-Jolis, la porte-parole pour la santé et les personnes avec les disabilities. How do you say that? Is that right? I'm very proud to be the chair of a caucus with such a strong female contingent. They're incredible, and our caucus meetings just rock because of that. Nowhere is the disregard for women more apparent than when it comes to women with disabilities and women in the healthcare system, or women as users of the healthcare system. The budget, as you know, says nothing about women generally, and that's really, really hurtful when it comes to healthcare, because women are the bedrock of the healthcare system, are overworked, underpaid, and disregarded. We've got to change that with a labor force strategy that recognizes the work of nurses, healthcare professionals, healthcare workers, and we've got to recognize the fact that women are being squeezed out of, being squeezed at both ends because of the lack of childcare and the lack of home care, and we're working hard to put in place a national pharmacare system, a national home care system. I got to say one more thing. One part of the budget, or one budgetary accomplishment of us recently was not the federal Conservatives, but it was as a result of Jack Layton and his caucus that we were able to get cuts restored to the Breast Cancer Advocacy Network.